Okay, so guess what, guys? We now have some other stuff to check. First, we have to check the other ending, of course. So let's load the final scene again. And this time we'll pick the other ending. Let's hide the truth from Rachel.
Choices being collector mode will not be taken into account. Yada yada yada. Let's go.
Let's honor Sarah's wish and not tell anything to Rachel. So because that's the great beginning to a relationship, I guess. Start with this big lie, but whatever.
To my understanding, you can still have Sarah meet up with Rachel even if you protect the truth. Since to be fair,
I couldn't.
This is apparently mainly just hiding the fact about.
Oh, you're right, actually.
All the stuff that went down with her.
Oh, you're right, actually. I actually forgot about this bit. Yeah.
I really thought.
So yeah, no, you do get voice acting.
Yeah.
You go with this.
I actually forgot about this bit. Why is the other ending like immediately cut to music? Like, why?
Don't you see? It's to show the weight of it all. Like, the music shows the tone as she reveals the truth and how much this will damage things between her and her family.
She is.
You know how in movies when sometimes you never hear what the characters say, but you can tell just by their faces and, their reactions, just how devastated they are.
Yeah, basically. All right. The basic gist of it is that, once again, we couldn't find her, blah, 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 but it's okay because you'll always have me, right?
She will never know that her mother was in flipping danger. But hey, at least she can still maintain a good relationship with her family.
In fact, this is the thing. Okay, so now that we pick this ending, we get this scene. The entire Ember family having a great, happy dinner, and Chloe's just sitting there secretly miserable because she knows the real truth. Right there, yeah. So...
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, John. Okay,
yeah,
so...
because pretty much, if I recall correctly...
The rest of the ending is the same thing.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, that's why I cut to the behind the scenes. Let's take a look at... Let's take a look at the behind the scenes info. There you go. Ashley Birch is back, everybody! Ashley Birch is back, so now Chloe can actually sound like she has life again.
Huge honor. I love playing Max. She's
Depends.
Also, Hannah Tell's back.
Yeah.
Who I am as a person I've ever played.
It's so nice. It's like, it is nostalgic.
Basically, Shiroi, the farewell bonus episode feels like Deck 9's gigantic apology to the fan base, where it's basically just, again, see, it's Max and Chloe
I feel like
again.
we both went through such deep emotional.
It feels like a big apology episode of sorts.
There's something really surreal, but so wonderful about.
Which is, again, kind of a shame. Again, I really honestly do wonder if they wanted to have a full fleshed out stuff, but they just didn't get the chance to. Because otherwise, I have no idea why they thought this would go down well with fans if, they didn't even show all the big things that people were hyping up for in a prequel.
Yeah. The interesting thing, guys, is that I actually think this game should have started with this episode we're about to watch / play. I actually believe that the prequel would have been much better if it actually started with this episode and followed from there, actually. But I'll explain.
I'm actually surprised that you didn't go Maverick and actually start the playthrough with this episode.
Well, if I wanted to go full Maverick, I would just play this as a prologue to the first game's playthrough, because technically this episode is the earliest chronological thing in the series so far.
I guess if you wanted to go YOLO with it. And ironically, you can play this before the original.
Yeah,
shoot it in a
as long
way
as you
that
buy.
Even with
That being said,
you won't get spoiled on what exactly happened.
That being said, if you do want this episode, you have to pay extra, because you have to get the deluxe version of the game. If you're buying it digitally, that is. There are some physical copies, like the one I got for my PS4, that does include a redeem code for the farewell bonus episode, without having being a deluxe version. But as far as I can tell, in Steam, PS4, you have to get the deluxe version, or of course you can get the normal version and then buy the deluxe version upgrade. So basically, if you want this episode, you have to pay extra. There you go. So yeah, now remember that bit in the first game where we went back in time to the day where William died. Now we get to play that entire day.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. So here we are, right next to it. Bonus episode. Farewell. And the load screen changed to a pirate flag. Nice touch.
You know what's spooky is that doll actually looks like it could have been a stand-in for a model in the original game.
Oh, I can see that Chloe already is showing her sadistic tendencies even before William's death. This is something Sid from Toy Story would do. Like, what the hell?
She's just a mischievous little rapscallion blowing...
No, I'm sorry. If I saw my kid doing this to his or her toys, I would be honestly concerned and consider putting that kid in a psychiatrist, because this is a very bad first sign that he or she could become a psychopath killer. Like,
is this the cousin from Toy Story?
There's having mischievous fun, and then there's just this.
Yeah, this is literally Sid from Toy Story.
I know, right? Sure. What do you think about? What do you think? Do you
I was
think?
going to say, I'm pretty sure it's specifically torturing bugs that is one of the first signs of somebody having some issues.
What about this female Sid
what
thing?
the view on this one is, but yeah, female Sid, I would agree with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to his credit, from what we've seen in Toy Story 3, Sid didn't turn out to be a psychopath.
Well, yeah, but what could have that was because Woody interfered. What could have again? Who knows? Maybe we could have had an alternate timeline short or something explaining what would have become of Sid if it wasn't for the events of Toy Story 1.
So what
He probably would have been eventually taken away from his family because they were clearly
So what you're telling me, Pedro, is that Chloe needs to have her toys come to life, scare the piss out of her,
Yes.
to set her straight.
Yes. Let's go full Toy Story on this shit. But
so this is set even before the storm.
yes, this is the earliest point in the timeline of the franchise so far. In fact, okay, I will mention another continuity issue with the first game as well that I noticed here, because if you remember, this is the same day that William died. In fact, this takes place right after William, got out of the house to go pick up Mommy, and that's when he dies in the car accident. So right now, shit's going down outside, but they're not aware of it so far because, they're not. Here's the thing: if you go back and check the first episode, the first game, they had Chloe's clothes are fine. They actually had different clothes. Both Max and Chloe had different clothes in that first game. So you'd think Deck 9 would take a double look at the first game and make sure they have the same clothes to make sure continuity is respected. Don't get me wrong, this doesn't ruin the episode or anything like that. It's just something that I feel like, come on, this would be a very easy thing to get right. Couldn't you just double check real quick what were the clothes that they had? But whatever.
Adding this to the pile. No freaking way. Just because I beat your ass every time we play doesn't make it trash.
Oopsie. Yeah,
I'm so glad the older voice actors are back.
Yes.
Nice try, Max. But you can't erase your shame that easily.
Wow, she's already bossing Max around even before William's death. I guess Chloe was always a bad person, kind of.
Okay. To be fair, with her, it's more like about a playful snark than actual malicious nature.
I guess.
Also, you're not a competitive board game player. I take it.
Trust me, Pedro.
No, I am.
Trust me, Pedro, when it comes to board games, even the tightest of friends can get competitive.
I played board games back in my day, but I haven't played in years.
Okay, Pedro, you know the epidemic with Mario Party. It can pretty much make even friends and family turn on each other like wild dogs. That is
guess.
essentially a board game in a nature.
I guess. Okay, so the basic premise is this. Aside from the whole, William's death thing that's happening off screen right now that we already know about because we played the first game, the main premise is that, remember, this is also the day that, this is also the point where Max is 3 days away from moving to Seattle. So, of course, they have to separate. So Max has to tell her the bad news that they're gonna have to separate. So the whole episode is this little mini storyline of Max gathering up the courage to tell her, while at the same time having a nostalgic look back at their childhood, remembering all the good times and all that shit, and blah 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 blah. Go on.
I will give this episode some credit. It does quite possibly the best job of the entire series to give us a reason why Max may not have been answering Chloe. The idea that Max really did not want to acknowledge this move in there to try and, keep away from getting the pain of it and all. So,
Sorry, boob jumps.
fair beans there.
You drew boobs on all of them.
Okay. Maybe things have changed since I was a teenager, but usually it's the boys who draw boobs on things.
Oh, no. I've
No,
seen
the boys
plenty
draw
of
dicks on things.
Yeah, honestly, no, I've seen plenty of girls that do that too.
I guess.
It's just kids being kids, be it boy or girl.
Alright, let's take
But yeah, no, I mean, this episode probably does the best job of explaining why Max may have had trouble keeping in touch with Chloe, seeing as how she had to build up courage just to tell Chloe that she was moving, and I can imagine Max did not handle things the best there. Mind you, that does not mean that I buy the idea that she never, ever responded to Chloe while away. I still find that a hard buy.
Yeah.
But this is quite possibly the most they come to justifying it.
That being said, the premise basically amounts to just literally 40... This episode is literally only 45 minutes long. There's not that much to it, and I'm gonna say it, unless you're a really big fan of the first game, I don't really recommend paying extra. I don't really find worth the money, to be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong, this bonus episode is by default the best episode of the game. But that's just because the other 3 episodes are just so crap, In the grand scheme of things, but Farewell is just an okay episode for what it is.
But yes, as you can see here, Chloe was a very up-and-coming student.
There you go.
Had
See?
higher grades than
There you
Max
go.
and
See? She was
everything
accepted in
except for
Blackwell.
phys ed.
Yeah. Let's see what she thinks about Blackwell.
The classes are incredible. The teachers are actually smart. And the lab is legit. Petri dishes for days.
What about the students?
See, she was actually even excited about school.
Yeah, but then my dad died, so now I don't care about anything. I'm sorry. I know I've run this thing into the ground, but I just hate that idea of Chloe immediately becoming a completely opposite person just because a loved one died. It's just like it's a traumatic thing, but I just don't like this story idea, to be honest with you.
It's the same type of problem with Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi. Can I get that he would eventually come to the point that he was in that due to these events that they tell us about happen? Sure, but they don't show us nearly enough of that transition to make it really buyable that the guy who literally did not give up on Darth Vader, the Michael Jordan of evil, would suddenly just give up on this other family member.
Yeah, I just don't like that idea. Because I don't...
Again, it really is a problem with Chloe in this regard here. We see bits and some bouts of different state, but we never get to see a full transition to how she becomes full-on asshole Chloe in the original Life is Strange game.
Hey, sure, I just realized something. Rachel loves to burn things, and Chloe likes to blow up things. They're perfect for each other.
Meanwhile, poor Max is the normie who just uses her powers to time travel.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, does end up creating a storm that can very much destroy the entire town, so...
But this is before the storm.
Yeah.
But don't you see, Sheree, free for free. Although ironic, let's see, Rachel nearly.
Seems like a good
Actually, no, she even ended up burning the mill.
So, Chloe, can I throw this out?
It's my entire magic collection. Do you know how many weeks of allowance this cost?
But you never use it, though.
You haven't touched these since the 5th grade talent show.
Maybe because my assistant turned out to be squeamish at the sight of fake blood.
At least you didn't saw me in half.
Oh.
How are you planning to clean this place if you won't?
Yeah, you have to throw away something,
Never
Chloe.
reveals her secrets. Put it back.
Chloe used to have ambitions and dreams back then.
And for once, it wasn't the education system that killed those.
I can get done arguing about trash.
Okay, I will at the very least give it credit that I can at the very least find that relatable, because that's usually how me and Vanessa are. Where except it's me who's the hoarder, you know, and Vanessa just keeps telling me, "Look, throw away this crap." You know, they're like, "No, just leave it there. I don't want to throw it away."
I am also that person.
I can get that feeling.
So you also have Alice telling you to throw away things, but you refuse.
Yep.
Dang. I try not to hoard. Oh,
You're off to a great start.
the camera, but yeah, I try not to hoard. It's just sometimes there's some things I'm so wary of getting rid of because I fear that there's suddenly gonna be a point where I actually need.
Look at that, guys!
Exactly.
Look at that guy! Did you notice Max's first selfie?
And so her
Typical-
mother photography began.
Okay, I'll admit I've never played this episode before, so I assume that she's not going to say selfie because
No.
this takes place before the term selfie was really in vogue.
Yeah. Timeline, like in-game timeline-wise, this is like 2008, I think, 2009, around there, late 2000s, basically.
Either way, that definitely would have been before the term selfie was really the hot ticket item it is.
In fact, let me check. Jova the other day gave us a timeline. Let me check if the timeline says when this takes place.
Chloe,
Uh,
tell you something.
hold the fort, Jova. I'm checking this.
I
Okay.
don't know how to.
Shit. Max, hold that thought.
Damn it.
Falling out when I-
Conveniently interrupted again before I could break the truth.
Do you have any idea what this is?
Time capsule.
Whatever it is, it looks like it came out of our pirate phase.
Your powers of
You know,
connection
for
must
as much
be-
as they talk about the pirate,
This tape is from
surprisingly does not do nearly
It's a
enough
message
with
from our past
pirates.
selves to
Yeah.
our current selves.
So we were 8 years old? That's crazy. I can't even imagine what we sounded like.
Hopefully better than the cast in this game did overall.
Yeah. All right. The timeline that Jova gives us doesn't have it. Apparently, I'll have to see if I can find it on Life is Strange wiki.
Fearsome pirates in the bays of Arcadia. Captain Bluebeard and
Ha, long Max Silver.
Get it? Captain Blue. Because, you know, Chloe will have blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
The entire game should have been stuff like this, like stuff that's actually relevant to.
Yeah, man, we're gonna spend this whole game in this one room.
That's actually kind of it, dude. This entire episode takes place just in this house. It's a very slice of life episode where you're just again they try to take the whole slice of life approach that you and I have talked about before, where it's just these two characters just being kids and
Honestly, I could have gone for a game like that. Sure, it sounds mundane, but hey, it adds on more lore and gives fans more of a look into what Chloe was like before the bad phase with her dad.
Like I said before,
really
when we
goes-
take a look at something like Isao Takahata's movies, there's an art to romanticizing the mundane.
This also again goes back to why I really feel like the alternate timeline in the original Life is Strange game was such a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, Chloe ends up a paraplegic, but it was interesting to see just how, a Chloe who isn't god-awful could be. But nope, we had to cut that timeline short as soon as we get to the whole euthanizing thing, even if we choose not to euthanize her.
All right, let's.
When we get to the whole euthanizing thing.
Yeah. You know, sure, that's just Life is Strange in a nutshell. You're having a good time, and then that one thing comes up.
I was having a good day, then my bestie asked me to euthanize her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can... Life is Strange Wiki doesn't seem to have it either. I'll just ask on Google, see if I can find the answer.
So,
property of Captain Bluebeard and Long Mac Silver. Keep out, Mom. Ha ha ha. The Bane of Arcadia.
I wonder why Chloe didn't call herself Captain Blue.
There they are. There you go. This is them 5 years before. There you go.
This is cute.
Oh, look, Shiroi. Pogo the pirate. Pogo.
Oh my God.
Pogo the pirate.
Unfortunately,
Shiroi. Yeah, unfortunately, Shiroi, Pogo is no longer among us. In fact, they actually buried him in the backyard, as you're about to see in a moment.
Anyway,
also, are those eye patches because the cat scratched your eyes out from putting that bandana on its forehead?
Nah, they're just pirates. Let me just...
Honestly, it's kind of a missed opportunity that that Chloe didn't call herself Captain Blue Hair and dye her hair blue back then too, just for the effect.
Yeah, right here. I was my first guess was right. This episode takes place in 2008.
Hey, check this out. This page was ripped out. Do you think it's the map?
If it is, there's no way I would have thrown it out. Maybe it's mixed in with the rest of the drawings?
So much for telling Chloe now. All she cares about is finding this map. But where could it be?
So yeah, I guess telling Chloe about our move is gonna have to wait because now we have a treasure to find.
Mm-hmm.
You are Max and Chloe, the best friends, blah, blah, blah. So basically they wrote this entire storybook thing. However, it goes on for a while. It has like 13 pages. So I'm not going to stay here and read all of this because, don't get me wrong, it's not that the story is bad, it's actually kind of cute. It's just that, for the sake of just keeping this moving along,
So is she going to find out... Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
Is she going to find out her dad died in this episode?
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically what this basically is, Shiroi, is Chloe's big super traumatic day where she had to deal with both Max's departure and her father dying in the same day, basically.
Next, and she also learned that Santa Claus didn't exist that day.
Backpack. For Chloe Price by generous donation from the Prescott Foundation.
There's no Santa, there's no treasure map, and there's no Chloe's dad.
Yeah. Well, Shiroi, keep look at the bright side. After we're done with this episode, we're officially done with the Arcadia Bay duology, and we can move on to greener pastures.
Are they greener though, from what you've been telling me?
Well, they technically are. They're different than Arcadia Bay, so they are fresher. I mean, whether they're bad or good or bad.
They're better.
The grass isn't always greener.
Okay, fine. Well, Shiroi, after this, before we do Life is Strange 2, we have the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit, and that's actually, if you ask me, the best Life is Strange game so far at the time of its release. So there's that.
I don't even know what that is.
Basically, it's a prologue. Basically, it's kind of like a free demo of sorts that actually is a parallel story that takes place during the events of episode 2 of Life is Strange 2. And if you complete, and it was released for free, you can literally go right now on Steam and play it for free if you want. Same thing for the other platforms. And basically, sure, if you complete the game, you can Life is Strange 2 will detect your save file of Captain Spirit, and the stuff you've done in that game will actually carry on to Life is Strange 2. So, which is why I'm gonna play. Which is why, to answer Dwebs, because Dwebs actually asked me about this off commentary, so now this gives me a chance to respond. That's why, Dwebs, we're going to do Captain Spirit before we do Life is Strange 2, because we need a completed save file of Captain Spirit to activate that feature in Life is Strange 2. So,
Which, you know,
Chloe said she hid
considering what I've heard about the game, that's definitely one of the cooler things.
Yeah, it is. That being said, there's some really terrible things that can come from that, depending on your choices, but I'll get to it when we get to Life is Strange 2. For now, okay, so the basic idea now is that we have to find a medallion. However, the medallion's in the attic, and Max is not tall enough to open that thing. So we need to now time to pull a King's Quest 7 and use normal objects to try to, you know, boost ourselves up, basically.
You know, it's a good job she's not a male member of the Graham family, otherwise she could die from that height.
I think you need a bit more, Max.
I don't know.
Use the broom.
Yeah, basically, Shuri, in the King's Quest series, male members of the Graham family tend to die if they fall from like a height of a foot.
Yeah.
Conversely, female members of the family are able to swim endlessly.
Yeah. Well,
That seems like a nerf on the part of one of them.
well, Joel, remember, the series was created by a woman, so I guess it's intentional, maybe? I don't know. Basically, Shirei, nowadays there's a lot of female game designers, fortunately, even though, of course, there's also a problem with the way they're treated, like you've said, but again, that's another topic altogether. But Roberta Williams was the first major female game designer, like the first one to have some really strong mainstream success, basically.
I also do like how the music is for this one. It's not, you know, heavy rock or anything.
No.
But it's a nice bout of
I think,
acoustic guitar.
Deb, see if you can find... Sorry.
This one feels like a good middle point between the original game's soundtrack, as long mixed in a bit with Before the Storms' melodies, if you will.
I don't
and
think...
Chloe and Max broke her neck off screen.
That doesn't look too stable. But anyway, I don't think it was Jonathan Morelli who did the music for it. I don't think they got him for this. Dwebs, could you check who the composer was?
I still think it's actually okay. It's from Mike Regan.
Okay, I don't know who he is.
Who's that?
Okay, I'm just looking it up now. Mike Regan, composer.
There it is.
Mike Regan. He's done a lot. He's done quite a few things, mainly video games and TV shows. In terms of video games, he's done. His early work was like licensed stuff like Xena Warrior Princess, some EA Sports games. He did God of War.
Oh, okay.
Well, by that I mean the original trilogy. Cool. And this was. Excuse me. This was the last game that he's done to date. He's also been a composer for TV shows like the All New Adventures of the Powerpuff Girls.
Wait. Is that which Powerpuff Girls is that? The reboot?
316.
Ugh, that poor man.
And he also did this Netflix film called sorry, it's a TV show called Chico Bon Bon, Monkey with a Tool Belt.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
It's about
a monkey with a tool belt.
Yeah, it's about a monkey with a tool belt. And he's voiced by a Ketchy.
Also, Max. Max, not for nothing, but I wouldn't really call you big and burly.
Crap.
Sarcasm, I assume?
I guess.
Okay, did anyone... Okay, one complaint I do have with this one, has anyone told... Did anyone tell Hannah Tell she's supposed to be,
13.
Yeah.
She does sound like she's using the same voice as how she...
That's 18-year-old Matt.
To be fair, I feel like she also did this with younger Max in the original Life is Strange game.
Yeah,
so
I think she
maybe
sounds
they're
about
doing
the
this with
same.
inconsistency.
Yeah, she sounds about the same she did in the flashback of the first game. So I guess to be fair, there's consistency.
Argument, we could say that. I guess for the sake of argument, we could say that puberty hit her voice a bit earlier. So
she sounded younger when she was doing her spoken dialogue, but for a lot of the inner monologue here, she just sounds like, you know, Max as we know her.
That's intentional. Is it to suggest that she thinks she sounds older in her mind? I don't get why.
No, I think it's just an inconsistency on the voice direction.
Probably, considering this is Philip Bach. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that he's a nice dude, but so far, from what I've seen from him in this game and Life is Strange 2, I'm not impressed.
I wonder if this confirms that, you know, we can probably really blame the quality of the voice acting on him then, because, like, we've got the original voice actors here now, and, well... Okay, to be fair, they're not bad overall, but that inconsistency is pretty jarring still.
As for the episode itself, while the narrative is fine, the gameplay-wise, this episode doesn't really have much meat to it. Like, there's not really any interesting puzzle design, not really. You're basically just, gameplay-wise, you're basically just going through the motions.
It's very much, you know, an extra thing where, you get it. It's an extra add-on or whatnot. Obviously, they're not going to have it be as big and beefy as the main game.
Yeah. See, the thing is... See, it's exactly the thing. Again, having more, like she always said earlier, having more of a focus on this stuff would have actually helped. That would actually enhance the first game by actually providing more context. Because the first game, remember, in the first game, we only learned about Max and Chloe's childhood friendship only via exposition. We never, I mean, yeah, we had that flashback, but that flashback is just there for the purpose of us stopping William from dying. It's not there for the purpose of fleshing out the relationship. It's just there for like, you're just like there for like a 5 minutes so you can do the puzzle. If the original game had at least one section that was like a flashback like this, it maybe that the story of that game could have been worked out a bit better. Which is why, if they really wanted to make a prequel to the first game, this should have been their focus from the get-go. Nobody gives... I'm confident when I say this, that nobody gives a... Okay, don't get me wrong, this game does have its fans, by that I mean the main campaign. But I'm confident I speak for all of us here when I say that we so don't give a rat's ass about the subplot, the plot with the dad and stuff like that, because it's just like so... Who cares? It's just so... Go on.
Look, even if we do care about the drama with the dad, that doesn't necessarily mean that usurps the reason that we got into this game. And that is to see how Chloe becomes, you know, Chloe in Life is Strange.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. What I would have done is, this should have been the first episode. Here's what I would have done. I would have had this 45-minute episode be the prologue, and then when it ends, Life is Strange Before the Storm, and then the rest of the game is Chloe fall from grace arc, where she gradually but slowly and tragically becomes a complete fuck up, as she admits in the end of the first game. That would have been a far more interesting way to do a prequel to Life is Strange instead of the whatever fuck we got in the main campaign. All right, see if the next part where we end this.
Let's